Our gospel text of today is taken from the Gospel of Luke chapter 8, verses 4 to 15, and is made up of two parts. The first part is the parable of the sower, and the second part is the interpretation or the allegorization of the parable. In the parable of the sower, this is primarily the message. A sower goes out to sow. And as the sower sows, some seed fall along the path and the birds come and eat it up. Other seed fall among thorns and the thorns choke them. Other seed fall in rocky ground, and because there is no depth, they cannot really grow. And other seed fall in good soil and bring forth plenty of fruit. This is the parable. Now the point is, what is the reason why Jesus tells this parable, and how can we draw a lesson from the parable? And the first lesson that we draw is this: that when we look at the kinds of soil, there is the soil, there is the path, there is the rocky ground, there are the thorns, and there is the good soil. And we notice in the three kinds of sowing, whether the path, whether the rocky ground, whether the thorns, the seed is lost. Whether you call it eaten up by birds, whether there is no depth so it does not grow, whether it is choked by thorns, that is not as much the point as the ultimate result of the seed being sown is that there is loss. However, it is only in 1/4, that is 1 out of 4. It is only in 25% of the sowing that there is gain. And this gain brings forth 100-fold. And so the point which the Lord is making is this: that in our endeavors, in our activities, in our actions, it is often the case that 75% of what we do, that 3/4 of the good that we try to do, might seem to fall on people to whom it makes no difference at all. From people who will be ungrateful to us, from people who will not even thank us, from people who will not even acknowledge that we have done them a good or a favor. There will possibly be 25, in some examples even less than 25, who will really appreciate you, who will thank you, who will express their gratitude to you. And the Lord is saying, that is not the reason why you must stop sowing. If you only wait until you can sow in good soil, that day will never come. And so the point of the parable of the sower is that we must continue to sow, and the Lord will make it grow. Our job is not to focus on the reaping. Our job is not to focus on the later. Our job is not to focus on the effect and the result. Our job is to focus on the now. Our job is to focus on the action. Our job is to focus on what we are doing at the present moment. Because if we do what we have to do at the present moment with all our attention and with all our energy, there is no doubt whatever that the Lord will do what remains, or the Lord will do what is to be completed. And so you might say that in the parable of the sower, the Lord is saying, you simply do your best, and the Lord will do the rest. You do what you have to do, and the Lord will do what remains or what you have not done. In the second part, there is the explanation or the allegorization of the parable, which is a little different. And in the allegorization, the seed is compared with the Word of God. And this Word of God is being communicated to everyone. And the Word of God is a word of forgiveness. The Word of God is a word of love. The Word of God is a word of mercy and pardon. And this word is being given to anyone. However, even as the word is communicated, and the word was communicated in the Lord Himself, in the revelation of Jesus, that word is received in a variety of ways. That word is received by some in akin to the seed which fell on the path. It just washes away, it just withers away, it just goes away. Like listening from one ear and letting it go out the other. A second kind of person hears it and is able to assimilate for some time. Temporary. The person has got no depth. The person has got no resilience. The person has got no courage. And because that is the case, forget soon what they have heard. The third is so taken up by other things which are happening around. The third is so taken up by possessions. The third is so taken up by having. The third is so taken up by other idols that they make those idols God and start worshipping them like money and like power and like prestige and like material things. And there is a person who reflects on the word and not merely reflects on and assimilates that word, but a person who lives out that word in their lives. And to live out the word in their lives is to have the Lord Himself as a model. And when we see the Lord as a model, we see in the Lord the attitude of selflessness, the attitude of giving, the attitude of mercy, and the attitude of unconditional love. And so we need to reflect on two questions today. And the first is, will you continue to sow in the hope that the Lord will make it grow? Will you never stop sowing because 75% of your effort is lost? And the second question is, how will I show in my life and through my actions that I have assimilated the word of the Lord and have brought forth 100